Hey there, it's April Bowden of Truth or Talk and Aiden's Road to Recovery. And since it is just 2 days away, a day and a half away from Halloween, I wanted to talk about a way to make a healthier version of candy for kids, and super easy. I'm not a big believer on, trying to be a Martha Stewart when you have such a busy life. I mean, once in a while I like to Martha Stewart out, but most of the time I want it to be simple, and so it's not going to take up my whole day, because I had stuff to do. But I do like this recipe because of its simplicity and its popularity with the kids. It's just every time a hit, right? And it only takes really a couple of ingredients. I'm going to be making pumpkins, and you can use any kind of juice you want. You can use, and you don't even have to use juice. You can just use water and then flavor it with whatever you want. I've been known to make them using ginger. This SCD or the GAPS intro diet, you can't have juice. And so during those times, I've taken just a chunk of ginger and put it in a pot and just sweetened it with just a touch of honey. And you can also use stevia, like unrefined stevia, the green powder, if you prefer, if you're keto and you're having absolutely no sugar. But this is Halloween, so what I'm going to do is take these little molds and take the mixture and put them into these so that I can make little Halloween pumpkins. And so that's why I decided to use orange juice, because of the color, obviously. So this is just plain orange juice I got from Costco because it's cheap. And optionally you can add a little bit of turmeric. Not only is turmeric super anti-inflammatory, but it's a good food coloring. It actually makes things, so it'll enhance the color and give it kind of a more orange look to it. Carrot juice would be a really good way to make some nice orange pumpkins, but I'm not using carrot in this, but you could. I mean, you can add a little carrot to your mixture or get a tropical blend that's got carrot in it. So this is optional. They're really fine and dandy without it. The other thing that you're going to need is some gelatin, and this isn't my favorite brand. I like Great Lakes because it's grass-fed, but I ran out of that, so I got this one. And I think health food stores might have Great Lakes, but I couldn't find any. So I generally order it on Amazon. Now, you're gonna, I've already poured it out, but you're gonna take just a cup of orange juice. So you wanna measure out a cup, if you have a measuring cup, and pour it into just a pot, a basic pot like this. And you wanna get the heat going to about high or medium. And as it starts to bubble, then you're going to pour in your gelatin. And this is the only tricky part of it, because you have to pour it in bit by bit so that it doesn't clump and get sticky. So I'm going to take a minute for this to start to bubble up, and I'll be right back. So as we're waiting for the orange juice to boil, I just thought it'd be a good time to mention that these are actually really good homeschooling activities. If you're homeschooling or just wanting to teach your kids at home. When I first started homeschooling my oldest son, Avery, he was going into the 6th grade. So he finished elementary school, and then he was going into the 6th grade. And so I was looking at, I really didn't know exactly what we were going to do just yet. I was a newbie, and I was looking through books at the thrift store, and I came across this little gem, which is an old book from the 70s, I think, or maybe even the 60s. It's old. It's called Science Experiments You Can Eat. And there's science experiments in here that are involving food that you can eat. There's so much science to cooking and measuring and all these kinds of things that it's really fun activities. And this thing cost me 50 cents, and and you can see it's like old and beat up. Might have even been a quarter. I think it might have even been half off. But we learned about, the freezing point of gelatin and making mayonnaise, and the science behind making mayonnaise, emulsified oils, and making butter, and how many churns it takes to make butter. If you do it by hand, it takes forever. But these are skills that are going to be useful. So now that we're starting to boil, we're going to, I don't know if you guys can see the boiling process. It's coming in, I'm sure you know what boiling looks like, right? So it's coming in pretty good. I'm going to just kind of turn it down a little bit and then add the gelatin. Now this is the only part, like I said before, that's semi-tricky, and this is where you're gonna need, he's waiting, and he loves these things like so much. So he's waiting eagerly. So the only thing is that you have to add them one by one, because otherwise they will clump and it could ruin your thing. Other than that, this is the simplest recipe of all time. So you just take the 1 tablespoon at a time and then just add it slowly, and you're going to be whisking as you do, okay? Just whisking away, and then just go ahead and add those one at a time, because you just can't like take the 3 tablespoons and just dump them, otherwise they will just clump right on up. So just go ahead and whisk those bad boys one at a time. So last tablespoon going in here, tablespoon number 3. So again, it's just 1 cup and 3 tablespoons of gelatin. And you can use any kind of gelatin, but the grass-fed is preferred for health reasons. But I mean, it's all going to work just as well. You know, it's just that, so if you're in a pinch and you have to go to the supermarket and get the gelatin and they don't have the good stuff, then, you know, this will work. Or you can't afford it, it's just overpriced. Which, you know, we do the best we can, right? So that's what's down to that. And then for the color, as I said, you can just take some turmeric, just a touch. Like, honestly, you don't want to overpower it with turmeric. But there's a lot of health benefits to adding turmeric. You know, if you want to make some really healthy, you can add turmeric and ginger and all kinds of cool stuff, like I said before. I've been known to make these as little medicine balls, seriously, you know, and like no joke. And any grain-free diet, paleo, you can make these keto friendly if you, instead of using juice, you use like, and now I'm just going to pour these in here. He's so excited. Sorry guys, he's just beside himself with how cool he thinks these are. But to make these keto friendly, you can actually, and I've done this before, is I take water and add something to it. You can add ginger. I take these little knobs of ginger and just cut them off, and then boil it in the water with a little bit of stevia. And I get the unrefined green. It's like, just, you can make it yourself. Anything that you can buy, you can make it yourself, but I did buy that. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. So you can see, like, it didn't fill that much. Sometimes it fills more than that, but I didn't do so this time. So I got just about half of the pumpkins filled, and the end result, and these are out of the freezer, so there's a little bit of ice on them, but they're cute, right? They like little pumpkins, and they're, you know, I put them in the freezer because rather than the fridge, because the kids will just eat them too quickly. If I put them in the fridge, they're like gone in a day. So I kind of hid these under the ice cubes so that they wouldn't just eat them all. But yeah, like I said, it's just, I mean, and there's a million recipes out there on Pinterest and on everybody else, but this is the one that I use because I think sometimes they don't tell you to use enough gelatin, or their instructions are too complicated. They want you to like soak this or do that, and I just, for me, it's this simple. I just put the 1 cup in the pot and get it bubbling, and then I start adding the 3 tablespoons of gelatin. So 1 cup to 3, and so you make as many as you want, and you get your, you know, cute little shapes if you like. So I'm also going to do, later I'm going to do some apple spice. I'm going to get some apple juice and add some mulling spice tea bags to it so I can spice it up, and make those into gummy bears, so seasonal gummy bears. And then I also have some other shapes and things like that I'm going to use, some other types of juice that, I mean, you can get like dark purple or red grape juice to make it like, you know, that darker purpley, more creepier Halloween colors and things like that. Anyway, super easy. I hope you guys like that. Aiden's Road to Recovery, and peace, truth, and love, y'all. Bye.